Okay, happy Friday. It's the 16th of January, and I feel like everything is lining up. Everything has a purpose. Every timing that I've had going on today has been spot on. Like everything I'm thinking about resonates with what I'm experiencing. It's weird how that happens, and let's get into it. So it's about basically things you don't want to regret when you're on your deathbed. But before I get to that, it's about the regrets people have as they're dying. That's what this is about. So before I get into those 5 tips or regrets that people have when they're terminally ill, I had a doctor's appointment yesterday, my 6-week appointment checkup update based on what I was going through in the fall. Lo and behold, my lungs are still pretty inflamed. So doctor's like, I want to do a CT scan um, so we can really figure this out because he didn't feel confident in his answer is like, "You're feeling fine," which I am. I'm like, "I'm feeling fine." But he's like, "Something you shouldn't have these numbers in your, white blood cell counts in your lungs." So, of course, I'm like kind of sitting there just thinking as he's kind of like typing stuff up. I'm trying to play out like what could be wrong with me, but also like not try to like overthink it. And, you know, here we are. I leave. They're like, just call. We'll have a follow up appointment. So I kind of just leave it at that. But you can't really help but think, he was basically like, I was like, what's worst case scenario? He's like, you keep going and your airways close up in 3 years. I'm like, what does that mean? Am I dying in 3 years? He's like, no, but like, he didn't give me confidence that I wasn't going to die. He also, made me realize in that moment, we're all gonna die. We're all gonna have to accept our fate. And we are all dying. It's just a question of how. How are we gonna die? And when? So I also then had a dinner planned with old friends from high school, mostly guys who I haven't seen forever. And it was the first time like we sat down and had dinner together in 20 years. Like I hadn't seen one of the guys, and no joke, since high school, like right after high school. And then the other ones I'd kind of seen here and there, but never like had like a sit down dinner. And I was laughing and I was having like such a good time, like reminiscing about things that like they remembered about me and they remembered about our like middle school, high school days. And it's just crazy that like we are like 20 years out of high school. We talked about how our class didn't do a reunion and we all agreed we should do a 21st to make it happen. Super happy. Like I was super like anxious, not anxious, but like I was nervous because it's like, I don't know. I didn't know who was going to be there. I didn't know how it was going to go, but I'm so glad I went. Because it was just like fulfilling. It was just awesome. Like seeing everybody grown up and who's some, people are sober or people are, what they're doing for work and their relationships and their kids. Like it was just like really freaking cool. So of course I had, my work day and I got that report at the doctor's office. And then I capped it off with having this awesome dinner. So as I wake up, I do not want to wake up this morning. I had like one glass of wine, a little sake, but I wasn't like, I just didn't want to get up. And I turn on my computer and what video is on? It's freaking, I'm going to pull it up here so I have the name of it. Life Regrets People Have Before They Die by this Let's Talk Psychology podcast, which is the one I did on yesterday's podcast. And I really liked it. It was 23 minutes. And I was like, okay, let's watch this today. I click it. It's like exactly what I'm experiencing right now. So I'm like, what? How did it know? I literally wasn't even going to record a podcast this morning because I was just like, not that I wasn't feeling it, but I was kind of just like in my head. I'm like, I'm not sure how to articulate today because I'm like feeling sad, but I'm feeling happy. So, what better time to record a podcast than when you're feeling sad and you're feeling happy and watching and wanting to regurgitate a video about the 5 regrets and like tips that um, this book has to offer. So, this woman, Ware, she wrote a book. She left her job as like a big time banker, comfort money, to basically take care of the terminally ill and ask them questions kind of about the meaning of life / what are your biggest regrets. And like that in itself is a super inspirational story because people don't chase meaning anymore, purpose. People chase comfort and money. And I just thought that's really freaking cool. So here are her 5 tips. Let's jump right in. And there's little nuggets along the way. So I took notes as I was listening, about 15. Here we go. Number 1, biggest regret from people who are on their deathbed talking to this nurse or this woman who starts basically writing a book asking what are their biggest regrets. Okay, first one, living their life authentically. So this means like they didn't live to their true self, being held back by fear, being like fear of others, what others think, being fearful of, not living up to their own expectations or other people's expectations. So most people end up compromising and just doing something that's easy and something that's comfortable because of what people are wondering why they didn't do more. And so the regrets come from not what they did, but what they didn't do, what this whole experience has been about. So, and she goes back to, I think it's all about courage and like honoring what you did, but people have to be courageous to leave that job that they don't want, make that choice to move, changing your environment, being around those people that you want to be. You have to make that conscious decision and you have to be courageous to do it, which makes sense. Number 2 was neglecting happiness. So she said that like the patients were like waiting for happiness. Like, oh, I'll be happy once I retire. I'll be happy when I go on that trip. I'll be happy when I make that amount of money. And she figured out that there's like these people could have had happiness sooner, and joy wasn't to be earned. It's just to be experienced, that we need to create it in small ways every single day because tragedy happens, right? Life gets in the way and you're always going to be busy. If you don't make time to do the things you want to do, take the trips with the people you love, that's going to be you on your deathbed being like, dang, I should have freaking done it. Number 3, people putting work before relationships. So we've all heard that, the longest study in the world, the Harvard study of these men, that the quality of life came back to the people who had the best relationships, people who lived the longest and the healthiest and were the happiest, were the people that had the strongest relationships. They sacrificed their life with work instead of relationships, instead of time, instead of people. They put a title or an achievement in front of relationships. And I think most people understand that you can't, you're chasing something that doesn't really matter and you can't get back time. You're only as old as you are right now. And you also are just doing the best that you can with what you have. I was talking to my brother yesterday on the phone after I got my results from the doctor. And it was like funny because he made light of the situation and was like, what's funny? It's like nobody really knows what they're doing because it's like this doctor basically using a ChatGPT for doctors. And it's like, see, no one knows. We're all just figuring this out. This probably came out like a year ago. And you've been practicing medicine for 25 years and you're looking up what I have. Like, am I that anomaly? Am I that one case that you can't figure out? I just find that to be really funny. It's like, yeah, nobody knows really what they're doing. Everyone's just figuring it out as they go. Number 4, not sharing honest feelings. I like this one because this is something I'm working on, is being like my authentic self. And this means like you're someone who like avoids conflict. You like to just be comfortable. You're avoiding rejection. Mostly for the people, most people hold this feeling back just to be approved, be accepted by the people that they love. When people will love you for just being who you are, has nothing to do with like having to put on this mask that like you're this amazing person, you've got all your life together. But it's like, no, I'm human and I'm doing the best that I can. And I think like most people who are like open-minded and have a big heart will accept people for who they are. Like last night, seeing my old friends, everyone just grew up, There's no judgment. Some people are married. Some people have kids and no wife. Some people don't have kid, wife. Everybody's on their own journey. And it's like, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. I don't have my life together. I didn't act like it. I'm just myself. I'm like, they're like, how are you? I'm like, it's crazy. I'm a shit show. Like I'm actual insanity all the time. Like I'm up here and they're like asking about my husband. I'm up here all the time and he's just like this. He's just chill, just cruise. And I'm like all the time, definitely have undiagnosed ADHD. And I brought that up in the girls, my friend's sister and her friend were there who we went to high school with, but just not in our same grade. She was like, "We all do. We all do. We're all like," I'm like, "Gosh, what is this?" We all were like experience this of like this. Maybe it was our environment. Like we were all high achieving, people pleasing, and now we're like, "Holy crap, what are we doing?" Anyways, I think that's really interesting about not sharing honest feelings. That being number four, and number five is also why I'm like, this is fitting that I'm just talking about this after I just is losing touch with friends. People who are on their deathbed, their biggest regret is like not valuing friendships. Like there's effort required, but everybody gets busy in their lives. Nobody makes time to take care of the friendship. People want love and companionship. That is a fulfilling life. Like, dang, like there's, when you really think about it, and again, it may be harder for those people who are like, I don't have any friends or I can't think of any friends. It's like, well, to the relationships that you do have, my advice is foster those relationships you do have. And also, my advice is if you had relationships in the past, but you lost touch with them, if it's a truly good friend and good relationship, it won't matter. I hadn't seen those guys in years. I hadn't sat and had a conversation with them. They don't know anything about my life or as much as that's online and vice versa. So like we were just genuinely sitting down and asking questions like what we're just people trying to ask questions to friends that we laughed at. We used to, have our first alcoholic drink with. And like, it was just like, it was so great. And I truly now feel why that's number five on the list. She really believes that it's not about luck, like as far as how to live a life without regret. It's about choices. She says one thing that we could do better is acknowledging mortality, understanding that death is inevitable. Death is going to happen. And again, somebody who's faced with death, and I have like, there are so many worse cases out there, but I do feel like have this in front of me now where it's like, if you don't get yourself right, worst thing that could happen is I would die. And it's like, right? I wonder if I should start living my life now in case I do die in 3 years. Like I should do the things I want to do, like intentional choices. Number two, intentional about environment. So she talks about not just like, not just your place, your environment around you, but like peop people and places that inspire you. Surround yourself with people who make you feel good, not who bring you down, not places or people or things that bring you down, which I thought was really interesting and something I think about. It's like, who are your friends? Who is your family? That's stuff matters to your life. Number three, let go of what you can't control. I do love this one because it's like so many times we're wrapped up in thinking we can control other people, things around us, our environment, but we can only control ourselves within the environment and around the people. And I think that's something that super eye-opening. A couple other tips she says, and we'll wrap this up, as she says, practice meditation to become aware, which I think is what changed my life. Like back in October, is that I finally had the time to slow down and I became self-aware of what we're doing. And I kind of woke up, and it was through meditation that I kind of gained this like levitation of like, this is crazy. The other thing she says is self-compassion. We got to be self-compassionate, meaning like tell yourself you're doing your best. Give yourself grace because every day we are doing our freaking best. I know I've already said this in this episode, but it's like, I'm so guilty of just like, I didn't do enough. I should have done this. I should have done that. And it's like, if you can lay in bed every night and say, I did my best, I think that's all you can ask for. It's just freeing even saying that, just in the moment, like, easy. Who cares if nobody watches this episode? Again, I'm not expecting anyone to. My expectations are down here. So if anything else happens, two people view it, I'm like, cool. Hopefully those two people listened to it all the way through and it actually connected with them. The last thing I'm going to say is at the end of the day, nobody said they wanted more wealth or more things. They wanted more time. So it all depends on how they lived, who they loved, and the impact they had on others. That's what matters. I hope you all have a great, great day.